If your listing expired and you're left wondering what you could have done differently, this is the piece most sellers were never shown the first time. Most expired listings don't fail because the market rejected the home. They fail because sellers were making decisions inside a framework that didn't match how buyers were actually behaving. After a listing expires, most sellers are given simple explanations. It was timing, it was interest rates, it was just a little overpriced. Those explanations sound reasonable, but they usually skip over what mattered most while the home was actually on the market. Here's a data point that helps explain why this is happening right now. Compared to this time last year, 57% more homes have been pulled off the market. That number matters, but not for the reason most people think. It's not because the market stopped working. It's not because buyers disappeared. It's because seller expectations didn't adjust as quickly as buyer behavior did. In 2025, many sellers priced based on momentum they saw last year, or they assumed interest would build gradually over time. When that didn't happen right away, listings either expired or were pulled entirely. What's important to understand is this: homes are still selling. They're just selling under a different set of rules. The homes that are priced and positioned correctly today are not sitting. They're moving. What changed isn't demand. What changed is how precise sellers need to be early. This is the part most expired sellers were never given clarity on. Buyers form their strongest opinions in the first 1 to 2 weeks of a listing being live. That's when attention is highest, comparisons are sharpest, and leverage is still fluid. If the market doesn't get a clear signal during that window, buyers don't lean in, they hesitate, and hesitation quietly shifts leverage away from the seller. That shift doesn't feel traumatic while it's happening. There's no obvious mistake, no single bad decision. It shows up as fewer showings than expected, longer gaps between conversations, offers that feel cautious or conditional. By the time a listing expires, the leverage has already moved. The expiration is just the visible outcome. This is why relisting without changing the underlying structure often produces the same result. Relisting isn't about trying again with more effort. It's about correcting expectations and clarity before the market starts responding. The goal isn't to guess what buyers want. The goal is to decide in advance what actually matters and what doesn't. When sellers define that early, pricing, timelines, and negotiations all become cleaner. Buyers don't sense uncertainty. They get structure and confidence. This is also why expired listings are not a sign that selling is impossible. They're a sign that the first strategy didn't match the market reality at the time. A relaunch done thoughtfully can perform very differently from the first attempt, even without dramatic changes, but only if the expectations and decision framework are reset before the home goes back on the market. One of the most common things sellers are told after a listing expires is to simply reduce the price. In the next video, I'll explain why price reductions often feel like the obvious fix after a listing expires, but rarely solve the real problem buyers were responding to. If you're considering relisting and want clarity around what actually needs to change and what doesn't, you can request a private strategy session. You'll get understanding what the market is responding to now so you can decide your next move with